Let's take a live look downtown Los Angeles at this 8 o'clock hour. Cloudy, but no rain is falling. It appears the worst is over for the storm of the season.
And we could see a pop-up thunderstorm or a shower anytime, anywhere tonight. We are tracking the storm as it moves on.
However, plenty to clean up after the storm. A giant tree came crashing down onto a home in Sherman Oaks. Some roads are covered in mud or boulders, and some hillsides have given way. We'll take you to all of those trouble spots.
And Montecito and all of the burn areas were spared today. No major debris flows or mudslides into homes. All evacuations canceled tonight.
We do have live team coverage. It starts right now with KCAL9 meteorologist Evelyn Taft.
Hi, guys. And as we get a look at radar, as you mentioned, the storm's starting to drift to the east, but we're still looking at some leftovers tonight and that chance of thunderstorms continuing on and off throughout the night as well. So we're not totally in the clear. In fact, we're looking at quite a bit of rain over our local mountains. We are also looking at a little bit of snow. Snow level still quite high at 9,000 feet. So let's take a closer look at what we're contending with tonight. You will see a few showers over Orange County, the Inland Empire, a few snow showers just above Wrightwood. So again, we're looking at pretty high snow levels still. And a look at the big picture doesn't look like it. There we go. It's registering. Here we have it. So that moisture, that atmospheric river is moving to the east. And just an interesting factoid, the Storm Prediction Center said that the actual atmospheric river shifted to the north about 150 miles. That 150 miles made a very big difference. It was areas like Big Sur that actually got the most amount of moisture, about 10 inches, which is what we were accounting for spots like Santa Barbara. So we did get spared, even though we did get close to 5 inches of rain in some mountain and foothill communities. I do want to mention we still have flash flood watches in effect through tomorrow morning. They could expire a little earlier, but for most of LA County, they will remain in effect until the early morning hours. So flooding is still a possibility. We could continue to see some thunderstorm cells move through over the next few hours. Also looking at flash flood watches over parts of Santa Barbara County right now. And you'll see that into Point Conception, into Lompoc. So, of course, we will continue to keep you posted on the watches and warnings. Big changes on the way as we head to tomorrow and the weekend. We're going to talk all about that coming up in your extended forecast in just a little bit. Back to you.
All right, Evelyn, thank you. Caught on camera, some very scary moments for a driver up in Canyon Country today. His car was swept away by the rain.
A driver behind him jumped into action and then rescued him. Luckily, no one was injured.
Also, a huge tree just could not handle this storm. It toppled over and landed right on top of a house.
Yeah, KCAL9's Crystal Cruz is live near that home in Sherman Oaks with this report. Crystal?
Hi, Jeff. It's still drizzling out here tonight, but here is this impressive visual right to the side of me. This tree larger than a blue whale right over here. It is incredible to see in person. And then if you walk this way, you'll see right there at the front gate, the city red tagged this home, calling it unsafe.
I just heard an enormous crash. Our house shook up and down. I looked out the balcony window and I saw that the tree had fallen on the house, and I immediately called 911.
A neighbor says on a scale of 1 to 10, the sound this tree made crashing down?
10 plus. It was really loud. It shook the entire neighborhood. It really did.
What did you initially think it was?
To be honest, I thought it was an earthquake.
When you have a top-heavy eucalyptus tree with a shallow root system and mix in some rain, this is what can happen, says homeowners in this Sherman Oaks neighborhood.
The eucalyptuses are a real problem in this neighborhood altogether. They're old, the roots die, they have rot internally, they're top-heavy, they get wet, soil gets saturated and they go over, and they're incredibly heavy. I mean, they're tens of tons.
No one was home when the tree fell down and crashed on top of the den. The house red tagged by a city worker. Other neighbors have taken out their eucalyptus trees, afraid of the same thing happening to them.
I think that there's been a fear in the community that one of them would fall.
Taking another live look at this huge tree. Tomorrow, I'm sure some people will be out here to start cleaning this up. I talked to a city spokesperson just minutes ago, and she said whenever there's a storm, they get lots of calls about trees. She didn't have any information on this tree specifically, but possibly someone will come out to take a look tomorrow to find out if this tree is a city tree or who this tree belongs to. I'm Crystal Cruz, live in Sherman Oaks tonight. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Okay, Crystal, thank you so much for kicking us off tonight here on KCAL9. Well, so far so good for people who live in that burn area in Santa Barbara County.
The mandatory evacuation order for the entire county has been lifted. KCAL9's Tom Waite is live in Montecito with more. Tom.
And Elsa and Jeff, we have rain falling once again here in Montecito, but officials, as you said, are telling residents they can come home, and they are coming home in droves. Take a look at some video here. We toured a lot of the catch basins and the creeks here inside of Montecito, and the good news is many of them, all of them really, are holding. There was some touch and go moments apparently in one of the areas this morning, but officials got a handle on it, and they were able to make sure those debris flows were just as they should have been. Everything held. They did come out with some heavy machinery to clear some areas, but once again, it looked very solid out there. The catch basins and creeks doing their jobs. Residents, of course, holding their breaths on pins and needles all day as they waited to find out what would happen. We spoke with one woman whose home was actually destroyed in January, and she still owns a business in the downtown Montecito area.
It had to evacuate 3 times this month. I have a business right here on Coast Village, so we're kind of, I know it sounds probably not wise, but we're kind of used to it. We still do close up. We have to. It's mandatory.
So once again, the rain is falling tonight, but officials saying it is safe for residents to come home. We've also been told by officials out here that there's scammers already out trying to take advantage of people. There was a flyer put out telling people to be ready for inspectors to come to their homes, but officials here say that is absolutely a scam. It is not happening. Reporting live in Montecito, I'm Tom Waite. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. A massive crater inside a mandatory evacuation zone on Latuna Canyon Road shows just how dangerous this storm is. And
KCAL9's Lisa Siegel went to the site of that collapsed hillside for more.
Here on Latuna Canyon Road, there is a lot of concern. Behind me, this area is completely off limits. Luckily, no homes are around this collapse. From Drone Force 9, you can see the dramatic collapse of this hillside in a mandatory evacuation area. The hill on the 8300 block of Latuna Canyon Road in the Sun Valley area gave way during intense rains. The chunk, 30 feet wide and 50 feet deep this morning, had quadrupled by mid-afternoon.
Earth continues to move as the rain continues to come down.
Authorities say water naturally drains here from the hillsides and flows under Latuna Canyon Road. With debris blocking the drain, the concern is water could build up and compromise the road, causing a sinkhole or collapse. Engineers can't even inspect until the rain stops. And the powerful rain has been coming down at a steady pace. Fears of what could happen prompted LAUSD to move students from Vinedale Elementary to nearby Glenwood Elementary.
Well, I think that it's that they're protecting us, so I feel very calm now, and I feel protected, and I feel we could come to school calmly and stuff.
Here in the area that's been evacuated, you can see why there's so much concern. You can see the rain and mud and debris coming down. That's why crews are out here trying to clean it up as fast as they can. Giuseppe and Carolina Gentile live further down Latuna Canyon Road. They say they feel safer this time around than they did in January, when mud covered their road.
Hopefully it just stays the same way and everything's fine. Yeah. And if not, they'll deal with it. They've been on it. The city's been really good about getting all the mud and the dirt up.
And back to the collapse, they will be watching it all night long. Right now, they can't predict what will happen next. Now, the road leading up to this area is completely closed off. Again, they simply can't predict how bad this situation is until the rain stops and they can inspect. Back to you.
All right, Lisa, thank you. Down in Orange County, the rain was on and off all day. It also flooded some roads there. KCAL9's Michelle Gili shows us how the storm affected people in the OC.
We were feeling a little bit left out here in Orange County, but finally we did start to get rain this morning. The storm finally made it to Orange County in time for this morning's commute. Rain fell most of the day, sometimes heavy enough to cause street flooding in places like Garden Grove Boulevard, where Noe Vega rides his bike to work.
With this flood that they got out here, I'll just slide, hydroplane really, and like slide into traffic or something. I can't really stop too easily.
Like the roads, runways were slick too. This afternoon at John Wayne Airport, a small plane making a landing slid into the grass in between the two runways and the nose gear snapped. The pilot wasn't injured. Officials don't know yet if the rain was a factor. And the weather may be to blame for a power outage at 17th Street and Grand Avenue in Santa Ana that backed up traffic because the stoplights were out. Ron Kay owns the Round Table nearby, and pizzas came out half-baked.
We had a lot of pizzas in the oven, and all of a sudden the power went out, and we had to take the pizzas out and just wait until the power came back on.
Public Works crews in Anaheim Hills kept a close eye on the burn zone, but there wasn't enough rain falling to cause any problem.
Yeah, I think it's a lot less than what they said. They were talking about sandbags and everything, but it seems fine.
To show you how quickly things changed, this whole intersection at the entrance to the 22 freeway on Garden Grove Boulevard was underwater after a heavy downpour, but now it's almost dry. In Garden Grove, Michelle Geely, KCAL9 News.
And keep it on KCAL9 News and KCAL9.com for continuing coverage of any weather-related issues that might pop up tonight.
Let's go to some breaking news right now in Sacramento. Dozens of protesters outside of a Kings game angry over the deadly police shooting of an unarmed black man. 22-year-old Stephon Clark was shot on Sunday. Police say they thought he had a handgun, but only a cell phone was found.
Videos of that incident were released yesterday. The protesters marched at Sacramento City Hall earlier. Mayor Darrell Steinberg said he was horrified by the deadly shooting, but won't second-guess the split decisions of those officers.
It has been rumored now for weeks, and today it finally happened. Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster is officially out as President Trump's national security advisor. He will be replaced by former UN Ambassador John Bolton, who served for about a year under President George W. Bush. McMaster tried to bring order into the national security team during a tumultuous time in the White House, but we're told that he and the president had major disagreements on several major international issues and were said to clash behind the scenes. Bolton is expected to start April 9th.
President Trump is expected to announce as much as $60 billion in new tariffs and penalties against China. Those tariffs could make the cost of hundreds of Chinese-made goods even more expensive. KCAL9's Ben Tracy has what could be the beginning of a trade war.
This video posted Thursday by Chinese media shows kids talking about a trade war with the U.S. If they have an eye to us, this child says, we will cut out that eye. And when it comes to retaliation, China is already eyeing American farmers, perhaps hoping to hit President Trump's rural base of voters in places like Iowa and Ohio.
So what brings a farmer from Iowa to Beijing?
Soybean business.
Grant Kimberly is a sixth-generation Iowa farmer. 1 in every 4 rows of soybeans planted in Iowa ends up in China. Overall, U.S. soybean exports to China are worth $12.4 billion. Chinese tariffs on U.S. soybeans would make them more expensive, which could cost U.S. farmers business.
China buys about 30 to 33% of all the soybeans that we grow in the entire United States. So it's very important to have a strong relationship.
Major U.S. companies such as Boeing, Apple, and Ford could also be hit if China retaliates. Tianjung Wu is a Beijing-based economist.
Given that the government here keeps saying we don't want a trade war, is there any chance they just let this go?
I don't think they can let it go. I mean, just looking at the domestic politics, it will be showing the weakness to just let it go. China definitely want to retaliate somehow.
Ben Tracy, KCAL9 News.
And now for a look at Wall Street. The Dow closed down by 724 points. The Nasdaq closed down by 178 points, and the S&P closed down by 68 points today.
Stay with us here on KCAL9, honoring a hero. Hundreds turned out in the rain to pay their final respects to a fallen Pomona police officer, Gregory Casillas. Evelyn.
And we're getting a look outside right now, still tracking rain you'll see over Santa Monica. We're going to let you know what the rest of your forecast for the week and weekend will look like when we come back.
It did rain in downtown Los Angeles, but not enough to flood anything. I'm Dave Lopez, but the roads, oh, were there problems. Details coming up.
And here's a look at the best of LA and Orange County tonight on KCAL9.com, where we are always on. KCAL9 News at 8. We'll be right back.